or the EAOs, the ethnic armed organizations, continue to push for a ceasefire, but violence is still persisting. In a concerning development, the junta has reportedly fired at an aid convoy, further deepening the humanitarian crisis. My colleague Vishal Vivek joins us for more on this. Vishal, what's the latest you're picking up from Myanmar and even the Chatuchak building collapse?
So the Myanmar situation is pretty intense, as we've been reporting. More than 2,800 people have officially been killed. That is the information coming in from the military junta itself. But as we've been reporting, it's quite difficult to believe in that information because they have known to be, spreading misinformation. So that will have to be rechecked again and again because the 7.7 magnitude earthquake that struck Myanmar is quite devastating. Almost all of Mandalay, which is the second largest city of Myanmar, has been destroyed. And coming back to Chatuchak in Bangkok, the search for the first survivor continues, though there are no chances of them being found. They have pulled out one body since last night, making that the 15th victim officially, although they have said that they have found many more bodies, but they have not been able to locate them, reach to them. And on the other hand, there are some new findings that the government has come up with. So at least 3,000 buildings were damaged due to that tremor that shook Bangkok last Friday. And out of those 3,000 buildings, 34 have been deemed extremely risky. So they can fall anytime. They are severely damaged is what the government is saying. So that is another story emerging from here. And also the fact that there could be another Chinese company involved in the construction of the steel beams, those questionable steel beams that were used in the construction of the building that fell on Friday. So a lot of parallel things
around
happening,
3,000
inquiries happening.
3,000 odd buildings in Bangkok are at the risk of, at a structural risk, so to say, and 34 out of these buildings can in fact collapse any given minute now. What are the constructors saying? Is the onus being pinned on the construction companies, or is it just a result of the wrath of nature like we saw on Friday last week?
So the officials have not come up with a statement on that. As far as the Chatuchak building is concerned, the builders have come up with a statement. They've said that they followed all the norms, all the standard procedures were followed, and they got the clearance from the local government here. So they are in effect blaming the local government that if you thought they couldn't go ahead with the construction of the building, why did you give us the clearance? So they are not ready to accept the blame, and they are passing the ball to other courts. This is just a blame game going on, very typical of any disaster of such magnitude. Whenever such a thing happens, these things do tend to follow these disasters. So that is what is happening here in Bangkok. The blame game is happening, and two Chinese companies could be at the center of this, huge magnitude of disaster.
Well, thank you so much for that update, Vishal. I request you to actually stay on, as there's another development from Bangkok. We have viewers, leaders from the BIMSTEC nations are in fact also attending the BIMSTEC summit in Bangkok. Now, PM Narendra Modi will also be attending the summit on the 4th of April, where leaders will focus on strengthening maritime cooperation. Now, the regional bloc, which includes India, Nepal, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Bhutan, Myanmar and Thailand, will discuss trade, security and regional cooperation. My colleague Vishal continues to be with us. Vishal, this BIMSTEC meet, the maritime meet, is really important considering the recent comments by Mohammed Yunus and the likely meeting between PM Modi and Yunus. What's the latest you're picking up? Is it likely for these leaders to meet, especially after Yunus's much provocative statement, really concerning the 7 Northeast sister states?
Well, that will have to be seen. It's still, these rumor mills have been swirling that there could be a meeting, there couldn't be a meeting. That the fact that there was a request sent from Bangladesh, what happened to that? All of these things have been, hovering over people. The questions are still to be answered, and nobody seems to have concrete answers to that. But we will soon have that answer when PM Modi visits Thailand tomorrow. That we could have that definitive answer then, only then. On the other hand, the BIMSTEC leaders are meeting today as well. Some of the leaders are already here, and there are some parallel meetings going on of former leaders of BIMSTEC countries. And we are at one of those events, and there seems to be one common thread connecting these leaders. They seem to be saying that not much has been done to, step up this BIMSTEC group to the next level. It still remains a dormant group. It's been in existence for almost 3 decades now, but not much has been done on developing this group to the scale of what you can say ASEAN or SAARC. It still remains, it still flows under the radar. Not many people know about BIMSTEC. So these questions are still being asked. We will have more answers when leaders arrive tomorrow for this conference.
Well, there's strong undercurrents, of course, ahead of the summit this year. Thank you so much for getting us the latest, Vishal, all the way since last Friday. Moving on, now the White House has confirmed that President Donald Trump will move forward with new tariffs starting Wednesday, escalating concerns of a global trade war. While details still remain unclear, it's the 11th hour now. Trump is set to announce reciprocal tariffs and a 25% duty on auto imports as well. Countries like Canada and Mexico are already preparing countermeasures. Meanwhile, market experts are also warning that these tariffs could very well drive inflation and slow down global economic growth. My colleague Sakshi Bajaj, in fact, brings you more on this.
US President Donald Trump's favorite word, tariffs, of course, has got everyone thinking, so what really are tariffs? Now, tariffs are essentially taxes charged on goods imported from other countries. Companies that bring foreign goods into the country have to pay taxes. Now, US President Donald Trump believes that tariffs will encourage US consumers to buy more American-made goods altogether. However, economists believe that, look, tariffs will increase prices for US consumers, and they believe that US firms may also decide to import fewer foreign goods then. This, remember, will impact inflation further, and rising inflation remains a key concern as far as economists are concerned for the US economy in particular. So Trump's tariffs and the overall impact then. Now, what does this mean for the overall impact if, of course, Donald Trump's tariffs of reciprocal nature or universal nature go ahead in full measure? If they do go ahead in full measure, remember, they can officially reshape the global economy and the framework for businesses altogether. Now, picture this, just as an example, if a US-based restaurant or a baker is getting inputs from Canada. Now, remember, the input prices will then increase if they do go through, if these tariffs do go through in universal nature, in reciprocal nature for the rest of the world. Framework for businesses will change altogether. Global supply chains and costing will also change. So economists believe that as far as India is concerned, India must push for far more export market diversification than earlier. Analysts say that, look, market gains today in India's stock markets reflect the fact that the tariff impact really has been discounted to a large extent as far as India is concerned. Analysts also believe that, look, adverse US impact and adverse impact in US stock markets or the US economy may finally make US President Donald Trump soften his stance on tariffs in the long term.
The towering blaze erupted at a Petronas gas pipeline in Malaysia, injuring at least 145 people and damaging nearly 200 homes. Witnesses described flaming debris falling from the sky and windows shattering due to the explosion. Meanwhile, authorities have said that the fire has been extinguished and all hospitalized victims are in stable condition. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim has assured Petronas and the government, in fact, will take full responsibility for restoration, which could take a year or even longer. An investigation is underway to determine the cause of the explosion as we speak. In a closely watched race, Democrat-backed Susan Crawford has in fact won a seat on the Wisconsin Supreme Court, maintaining the court's 4-3 liberal majority. The race became the most expensive judicial contest in U.S. history, with over $90 million spent. Conservative candidate, on the other hand, Brand Schimmel, backed by President Donald Trump and billionaire Elon Musk, conceded after trailing by 10 percentage points. The court is set to rule on key issues like voting rights, abortion, and labor laws as well. Meanwhile, 2 Trump-backed Republicans secured House seats in the Florida special elections. Over in West Asia, the US has imposed sanctions on entities and individuals in Iran, the UAE and China, whom it accuses of being part of an Iranian weapons procurement network as Donald Trump seeks to ramp up pressure on Tehran. The Treasury Department, the US Treasury Department, in fact, announced sanctions on 6 entities and 2 individuals in action taken in coordination with the US Justice Department. They've been accused of responsibility for procurement of unmanned aerial vehicles, or UAVs, as they are called, their components on behalf of a leading manufacturer for Iran's drone program. Russian President Vladimir Putin's close advisor Kirill Dmitriev is reportedly expected to visit Washington this week for talks on Ukraine with President Donald Trump's envoy Steve Witkoff. He'll be the most senior Russian visitor to Washington since the 2022 invasion of Ukraine. Dmitriev is the head of Russia's Sovereign Wealth Fund and a senior member of Putin's negotiating team in the indirect ceasefire talks with Ukraine, which the Trump administration is mediating. Staying with Russia, Putin begins the biggest Russian military call-up in years together. President Vladimir Putin has called up some 160,000 men aged between 18 and 30 years. It's Russia's highest number of conscripts since 2011. This as the country moves to expand the size of its military. The current draft, which takes place between April and July, comes despite US attempts to forge a ceasefire in the 3-year-long war. US federal prosecutors are seeking the death penalty against the man accused of fatally shooting United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson outside a Manhattan hotel on the 4th of December in New York. The US Attorney General Pam Bondi said on Tuesday. Mangione is facing both state and federal charges in connection with Thompson's killing. He has pleaded not guilty to the state charges and has not even entered a plea to the federal ones. The maximum punishment, in fact, on the state charges is life in prison. Indian-American Jay Bhattacharya has officially assumed the office as the 18th director, in fact, of the U.S. National Institutes of Health, or the NIH, nominated by President Donald Trump last November and confirmed by the Senate last month. Dr. Bhattacharya will oversee the country's top medical research agency. He aims to restore public trust in science and focus on tackling chronic diseases like cancer, heart diseases, and diabetes. A Stanford professor and health economist, Dr. Bhattacharya gained prominence during the pandemic for co-authoring the Great Barrington Declaration, advocating for reopening schools while protecting vulnerable populations. Chile's President Gabriel Boric has praised Prime Minister Narendra Modi's global leadership, calling him a key geopolitical player. Speaking in New Delhi during his state visit, Boric highlighted India's growing influence, noting and underlining PM Modi's ability to in fact engage with world leaders across political divides. The visit also marks 76 years of the India-Chile diplomatic ties, with both nations signing agreements on cultural exchange, Antarctic research and trade. Boric is set to visit Agra, Mumbai and Garden City, Bengaluru during his trip. Speaking of trips, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman will embark or visit London from the 8th to the 10th of April, where discussions on the proposed India-UK Free Trade Agreement and the bilateral investment treaty are expected to take centre stage. The Finance Minister is also likely to meet UK Chancellor of the Exchequer Rachel Reeves and other British ministers during the visit. Now, the talks, which resumed in February after an 8-month break or hiatus, focus on market access for Indian students and professionals, with the UK seeks tariff cuts on goods like Scotch whisky and electric vehicles. Bilateral trade between the two nations rose to $21.34 billion last year. And in a message marking the 75th anniversary of their bilateral relations, Chinese President Xi Jinping on Tuesday stressed on partnership between New Delhi and Beijing for mutual achievement and the need to do the dragon-elephant tango to serve their fundamental interests. Apart from President Xi's message to his counterpart, President Murmu, Chinese Premier Li Kang and PM Narendra Modi too exchanged congratulatory messages. Later, Indian Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri said there was an opportunity to rebuild ties with Beijing. He reiterated a caveat on how the two sides should go forward, saying peace along border areas is indeed critical. And it's time we slip into a short break. See you on the other side.
I've been thinking I want to plan my funeral so it feels more like a celebration. My parents always said I was born dancing. I just love it. Bhangra, disco, even line dancing. So when my time comes, I want to have music, dancing, the lot.
With over 150 years' experience, you can count on Co-op Funeral Care to help you pre-plan the funeral you want. To find out more, visit Co-op Funeral Care or give us a call.
Nothing beats a celebration. And at Tesco Mobile, we're ringing in 30 years of Club Card with deals like the Samsung Galaxy S25 Plus, with 25 gigs of data for just £43.99 a month with Club Card prices, saving you £270. Better yet, that price is frozen for the duration of your contract. And you can even bag a £30 Tesco gift card too. It pays to be connected. Search Tesco Mobile. Every little helps.
This is an important message for people living with diabetes from people living with diabetes.
When I was experiencing the symptoms of diabetes, I didn't know what was going on.
You go on the internet and it's full of horror stories.
I didn't understand about carbs, I didn't understand about blood glucose levels.
That's why the support I get as a Diabetes UK member is so important.
You can become a Diabetes UK member for just £3 a month. When you do, you'll receive a practical guide specific to your type of diabetes and a copy of Balance magazine 4 times a year. Plus, you'll help support research that could lead to better treatments for all types of diabetes.
As members, we're all working it out together.
Call 0800 144 5410 or go online to become a Diabetes UK member for just £3 a month. Join us now, because membership can help you learn to live better with diabetes.
Right now, UNICEF is supporting millions of children in emergencies around the world. It's what they do. Teams are bringing emergency supplies to children affected by the crisis in Gaza, healthcare and safe spaces for Ukraine's children, and medical supplies for children in Yemen. £10 could help bring safe drinking water and life-saving therapeutic food. Search UNICEF supplies online or text supplies to 85525. Your support brings hope for children caught in crisis.
Goldbank London, your #1 place for buying and selling gold. Visit goldbank.co.uk or call 0203 500 1111.
Welcome back. You're watching The World Report with me, Arjun, Samar, Mahendran. Moving on to business news now. A crucial White House meeting stated for Wednesday will decide the fate of TikTok in the US. With an April 5th deadline looming, President Trump and key officials are in fact reviewing last-minute proposals to secure a non-Chinese buyer for the app. Leading investors, including Blackstone and Andreessen Horowitz, are reportedly in talks to buy out TikTok's US operations. If in the case of no deal being reached, the app faces a nationwide ban on security grounds. OpenAI's ChatGPT has seen an unprecedented surge in users after the rollout of its new image generation feature, inspired by Studio Ghibli's signature animation style. The update has fueled social media trends and has pushed ChatGPT's active user base past 115 million for the first time this year. CEO Sam Altman has said that they added 1 million users in just 1 hour, but the spike in demand has led to temporary service disruptions as well. Visa is making a bold move to become Apple's new credit card partner, reportedly offering $100 million to replace MasterCard. American Express is also in the race, seeking to take over both processing and issuing rights. Apple's search for a new financial partner follows the company's split from Goldman Sachs. Talks with potential firms including Barclays and Synchrony Financial are also ongoing. The Meta's AI division is undergoing a leadership shakeup as Joelle Pinou, the head of AI research, announces her departure after 8 years at the helm. Pinou led the development of key AI tools like PyTorch and Llama, shaping Meta's AI strategy altogether. Her exit comes as tech giant intensifies its AI push, competing with rivals like OpenAI and Google in the fast-evolving artificial intelligence landscape. The world of sports, Lionel Messi's bodyguard, Yassine Chouko, has revealed that he is no longer allowed to protect the football star from the touchline during Inter-Miami matches. Now, Chouko, who's gained fame for swiftly stopping pitch invaders, criticized the security situation in the US, claiming that 16 people have breached the field in just 20 months. MLS, or Major League Soccer, however, stated that its security protocols remain unchanged. Inter-Miami has yet to comment on the matter. In the world of golf, Tiger Woods pulled an April Fool's prank, claiming he was ready to play in the Masters just weeks after returning his Achilles tendon. The golf legend posted the joke on social media, saying that he had recovered thanks to a hyperbaric chamber and explosive lifts. Minutes later, however, Woods clarified it was all in good fun, admitting his Achilles is still in bad shape. Now, 49-year-old Woods last played an official tournament in July last year. Golfer Akshay Bhatia is back at the Valero Texas Open, where he won his first PGA Tour title last year. The 22-year-old secured his spot at the 2025 Masters with that victory, finishing 35th in Augusta. Now, this time, Bhatia is focused on fine-tuning his game rather than defending his title. This, as he is already set to compete at this year's first major tournament. Madison Keys overcame a tough challenge from fellow American Caroline Dohelhide to reach the next round of the Charleston Open. Despite Dohelhide saving 7 match points, Keys held a nerve to win 6-3, 7-6. Meanwhile, defending champion Danielle Collins also advanced, defeating Robin Montgomery in straight sets. In the world of entertainment, Hollywood actor Val Kilmer, known for his iconic roles in Top Gun, The Doors, Tombstone, and even Batman Forever, has died at the age of 65. According to the New York Times, the cause of his death has been ascertained pneumonia, as confirmed by his daughter Mercedes Kilmer as well. Now, Kilmer was one of Hollywood's top stars in the 1990s, but faced career setbacks due to his clashes with directors and co-stars. His legacy includes a reputation for intense performances and perfectionism, with his final major appearance in Top Gun Maverick alongside Tom Cruise. In an unprecedented diplomatic gesture, Israel's foreign ministry hosted the world premiere of The Diplomat, starring John Abraham, to welcome India's new envoy, JP Singh. Now, the film is based on a real-life crisis that Singh helped resolve. Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Saar met Singh before the screening, wishing him success in his tenure as the new ambassador. However, he had to miss the event due to an urgent call from the Prime Minister's office. UK's Queen Camilla marked the 21st anniversary of Safe Lives, a domestic abuse survivors charity, by hosting a reception at the Clarence House. As the charity's patron since 2020 for 5 years now, she's welcomed 100 survivors and professionals, acknowledging how discussions around domestic abuse have evolved over the years. She was also honored with an award for her commitment to the cause. Listen in.
I would not be standing here if it was 10 years ago, and none of you would have been standing here because we wouldn't have been talking about it. It was a taboo subject and nobody actually wanted to talk about it.
CinemaCon 2025 saw Hollywood's biggest stars walking the black carpet in Las Vegas. Ana de Armas promoted Ballerina, a John Wick spin-off featuring Keanu Reeves. Sydney Sweeney and Amanda Seyfried teased their psychological thriller The Housemaid, while Mark Hamill introduced The Long Walk, a Stephen King adaptation. Now, the event attended by theatre owners also showcased the hottest upcoming films of the year. With that, it's a wrap today. Take care and have a wonderful day.
When I woke up, they said, Alyssa, you've got leukemia. We found out that the chemo wasn't working.
Cancer is still the biggest killer of children in the UK, but innovative new treatments could help beat cancer for more children like Alyssa.
I'm cancer-free now.
Text, call or search to give £3 a month and help build a new children's cancer centre at Great Ormond Street Hospital. So together we can save more lives.
Family life. It's made of ups and downs, and those little moments. But should the unthinkable happen to you, life insurance from Legal & General can help look after monthly bills.
कि ध्रुवीकरण जितना होगा उससे वो लाभ उठाने में आगे रहेंगे तो ये वक्त बिल जो लाया जा रहा है.
It feels good knowing that your future's in hand. Evlo can offer you a loan from £1,000 to £15,000. Get your conditional decision in minutes.
We know travel can be confusing. That's why I use travelup.com. You can upgrade your seat, one way or return, increase your baggage allowance, filter by flight time, journey duration, and customer rating. And while you're away, TravelUp has you covered. From weather updates and on-demand taxi services to event and excursion tickets, all at your fingertips. Book now on travelup.com or call 0207 580 5000. TravelUp, flights, hotels, holidays.
He woke you at 4 a.m, but he is making you lunch. Oh, is that the sound of your heart bursting? Of course not, it's the soup exploding in the microwave. But love is stronger than soup glue, so is Plenty. It's 50% more absorbent and has compostable sheets for your compostable messes. One sheet does plenty.
This is an urgent appeal from UNICEF UK. Children in Gaza are in critical need of food, water and medicine, and we need your help. Families are still at risk. The services they rely on have been destroyed and their lives turned upside down. UNICEF is working non-stop, providing life-saving medical supplies, clean water and fuel to keep services running. But we can't do it without you. To find out how you can help, search UNICEF Gaza or text Gaza to 84915. £39 could provide a family with an emergency water and hygiene kit. Whatever you can afford, your vital gift will help UNICEF keep working with children and families in Gaza to get through this crisis. Search UNICEF Gaza online or text Gaza to 84915 and help bring hope for children caught in this devastating crisis. Thank you.
लेकिन इनकी कोशिश है कि इस बिल के माध्यम से हम मुस्लिम भाईचारा में भी बंटवारा कर दें. बंटवारा तो पीडीए करेगा. अभी देखिएगा सभापति महोदया, हमारे एक सदस्य कह रहे थे कि चुनाव बहुत अच्छा होता है. इनसे बेहतर किसने चुनाव देखा होगा? चलिए धन्यवाद. वोट ही नहीं डालने दिया. सभापति महोदया, मैं धन्यवाद देता हूं. मैं और अपने दल और साथियों के साथ कहता हूं कि समाजवादी पार्टी इस बिल का विरोध करती है. वोट पड़ेगा तो हम इसके खिलाफ वोट डालने जा रहे हैं.
माननीय सदस्य श्री कल्याण बनर्जी जी.
Thank you, Madam. On behalf of All India Trinamool Congress, under the leadership of the Mamata Banerjee, I strongly oppose the bill in entirety. Madam, the spirit of my speech is, तू हिंदू बनेगा ना मुसलमान बनेगा, इंसान की औलाद है, इंसान बनेगा. Madam, this present bill covers importantly two areas of the Waqf. One, manage religious affairs of Waqf Board. One of the arena is to manage, control, supervision of the religious aspects of the Muslim. 2, providing power to the state government to decide the disputes in respect of the Waqf property, including land and building. Article 26 of the Constitution of India provides that, subject to public order, morality and health, every religious denominations or any section thereof shall have the right, A, to establish and maintain institutions for religious and charitable purpose, B, to manage its own affairs in matter of religion, C, to own and acquire movable and immovable property, D, to administer such property in accordance to such law. Madam, the Waqf is an institution for religious and charitable purpose. The Muslim have constitutional right to manage its own affairs in the matter of religion because Waqf property belongs to Allah. They have also the right to administer such property. The purpose of the bill is a clear breach of the right of the Muslims to perform their religious duty, to manage their religious affairs, and therefore completely in violation of Article 26 of the Constitution of India. The bill hits basic structure of the Constitution. Madam, under Article 246, Sub-Article 1, the Parliament has an exclusive power to legislate a law under 7th schedule of List 1, and under Article 246, Sub-Article 3, the state is having the power, state legislature is having the power to legislate the law, exclusive power. Sir, excuse me, sir. That is to say, land comes under List 2, under entry 18 of the state lists. Lands and buildings vested in or in the possession of the state comes under entry 35 of the List 2 of the state list. In the proposed Waqf bill, the Parliament has no power to legislate any law in respect of the land and building vested in possession of the state in respect of the Waqf property, because the state is only having power